Well met, adventurers! In today's video we're going to be going through more ways that you can hide messages for your players to try and figure out, be it through ciphers or other methods. So, let's get into this. Yes, 'tis I, Nathaniel Gomezian, shopkeeper and proprietor of Gaming Treasure Chest, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you more ways that you can hide messages or secret things from your players that they can then figure out, and that can then lead them through clues or different things. You know, it's just a fun way of giving your players information secretly, be it if it was passed between bad guys or whatnot, and it's just like a nice little way of them finding out. Makes them feel smart for actually being able to work out what the message is, and then also it can give them an advantage in the game if it's a message about where somebody's meeting up or whatever's going on. But it's just fun. I have in fact done a video on this already, and if you enjoy what you see here today, maybe check that video out, because there are more ways that you can hide messages and whatnot from your players. That's it. That's a bit of fun. But anyway, let's get into this video. So the first cipher we're going to be going through today is the Pigpen Cipher. Now, it's a very simple and easy to use cipher. And basically, the idea of the Pigpen Cipher is substituting letters for symbols, and here is the standard kind of Pigpen Cipher that you'll see near enough everywhere. So yes, here you have the Pigpen Cipher key on the right and a plain piece of paper on the left. And the idea of the Pigpen Cipher is that where all the letters are represents the symbol of that letter. So by that I mean, if you look at where A is, to write A, all you've got to do is that, because that corresponds to what the letter A is. And if you were to write B, it would be this. If you were to write C, it would be that. So if you wanted to write the simple message of hello, it would be H-E-L-L-O. Now you can use the Pigpen Cipher as it is, or you can scramble around the letters into different places so that you can make the code a little bit more harder for your players to figure out, because they can pretty much look that up online for the standard of how the Pigpen Cipher goes. But you don't have to, you can just use the standard one. You can give them notes and letters and little bits of information that are in that cipher, and then potentially later on down the line when they beat one of the bad guys or searching through their study, they can find the key to the cipher, which is obviously just showing you, and then they can go back and try and work out what the things were in the codes to be able to find out extra information. You can also do it where you give them bits and pieces of the key along the way, like in terms of when they beat somebody, they might be able to find part of a torn part of it or something along those lines, that then when they get the whole pieces together, because you're handing it to them as they're going through, they can then put that together to get the whole key or code, which they can then go back and use that key to decipher messages they might have picked up previously, to be able to find out information of secret things that were being passed between the organisation or Big Bad or whatever's going on. So in terms of seeing the Pigpen Cipher in action, here's one that I've actually prepared for you guys, so you can pause the video and see if you can work out what this says. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that was a little bit of fun for you guys, and that's the kind of fun that you can give your players by handing these things to them. So, on to the next cipher. Another cipher that you can use, which technically still falls under the Pigpen Cipher thing, but is its own thing, was the Templar Cipher, which their cipher was basically based off of their Templar cross, which they use different ways of being able to present different letters. You will see that on this code here, which is in front of you, there is actually no J, because J was not actually a letter back in the day when they were doing these messages back Templar times ago. So you can substitute and make a different one for J if you want to, or you can leave J off. It's up to you. It depends how many times you want to throw J into your messages, I guess. So this time we have the Templar Cipher here, and if we were going to be writing the same letter of hello, then we would have the H here, an E like this, and the L. I always get these ones kind of mixed up, or I make them look terrible in terms of where the points and the fact that it's a smaller thing, but anyway, and O like that. So just like before, here's a Templar Cipher that I prepared for you guys. You can pause the video and see if you can work out and decode what this message is. I wish you the best of luck with that, and I hope that it went well for you. Anyway, on to the next way that you can hide messages. So this way of hiding messages is actually from my DM, who loves using numbers. And numbers, there's various different ways you can use numbers to hide messages, but this is just one of the ways that they use numbers. I think it's really fun. There is no real name for this one, so I'm just going to call it the same thing that me and my fellow players call it when my DM ever sets us any of these, which is Numberwang. And if you don't know why it's called Numberwang,
That's Numberwang. Let's go to the maths board.
So to make you understand what it was like for us when we received this Numberwang from our DM, the idea of it was that he gave us these numbers, and these numbers kept on repeating, and we couldn't work out what was so special about these numbers. So let's just pop over so you can see the sequence of numbers. So the numbers we kept hearing were the following. So 2, 6, 12, 13, 9, 1, 8, 10, 11, 3, 5, 4, 7, 14. Now, one thing you might notice about this sequence of numbers is they actually go 1 to 14, because none of these numbers are actually repeated. It is just the numbers 1 to 14, but in a different order. But me and my friends were scratching our heads trying to work out what the hell this meant. It wasn't actually until much later in the campaign where we realised that the bad guy, who we had actually had his name before we had these numbers, was Ash Finish Major. That his name actually has 14 letters, and it was only then when we realised this, which was, I'm going to say, a couple of months into the campaign after getting both of these things. So it did take us a little while, and it might take your players a little while to work this out unless you give them any kind of hints or whatnot along the way. But the way that this code works is if you take the name and the numbers and go along to find which numbers, these are actually telling you where they should go in the sequence. So let me show you what I mean by this. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to the number 1, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the message starts with I. And if you carry along with that pattern, you end up working out that the message actually says, sorry about that one, I messed that one up. If you continue to do the message, you will find out that it says, I am Jason Fisher, which was actually a major crazy plot point in our campaign, being that Jason Fisher was actually my character's brother who he thought was lost. And so it ended up turning out that he was actually our BBEG. Good times. So this code and way of hiding this message is basically the Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter way of mixing things, which is mixing up the letters in order to hide what the message actually is. But I can tell you from personal experience, using this message and this code the way that our DM did, it was actually a very exciting time for us when we finally were able to work out what the message was, and it was a big revelation. Now, there are many other ways to hide messages and codes and whatnot through numbers, and maybe I'll get onto that on another video because I plan to make more of these, because you know what, I enjoy codes and whatnot, and I hope that you enjoy them too. But let's get on to the next way you can hide messages from your players. So the last way I'm going to show you how to hide messages and whatnot in today's video is through different sheets of film. What the hell do I mean by that? Well, I mean things like this sheet of film, which is specifically a different colour and can hide certain colours like reds and whatnot that can reveal messages underneath them. So let's get into this so I can show you what the hell I mean. So this might just look like a random stream of dots, but when you put this film on top of it, it can reveal a message, and oh no, how did that get in there? Oh, but why not consider it? But anyway. But how is this done? Well, it's done by the fact that this film obscures certain dots and certain colours, so it obscures the orange, red and pink, but it keeps on the purple, green and blue. So if you do the dots with the purple, green and blue in a certain way to be able to put in the message, why not subscribe, and then obscure them with loads of dots that are of the other colours, it reveals the message when the certain film goes on top of it. There are other ways of doing this, of course. I just find the dots the most useful way of hiding the message, but you can also do something like this where you might be able to see what the message is already, which is why I said this is not exactly the best way of hiding the message by doing random kind of like shapes on top of the message. But if you put the blue on top of this, it starts to reveal it a little bit more, and if you put the purple on top of the blue, then it should reveal it means a lot, as the message which kind of shines through more than any of the others. One of the more interesting ways that I've seen people use these kind of coloured films in order to reveal messages, which is actually just people trying to read different languages, say Elvish or Dwarvish or Undercommon, abyssal, whatever. Basically, I've seen people put on these different coloured things, like the name like abyssal or something like that, and only by putting it over the top of messages can that person read it. So say that you've actually are fluent in it, you're given these sheets to begin with, and it can just be a fun little way so your character can actually represent the fact that they can see something that others can't. But you don't have to do that, and there are so many ways you can use coloured films to be able to have fun interactions with your players. Like maybe they find some goggles or something in a dungeon which is one of these coloured films, you know, a bit like in that film National Treasure. And you can do different things where two sheets together can hide and reveal different messages, like if you were to put red with blue would obscure purple, or blue and yellow would like get rid of green, you know, different things along those kind of lines that you can do to be able to make secret messages that it would be harder for them to find just with one. Maybe they need two of these they have to find along the way. But as I said, that's just one way that you can use these things in a little fun way for your players. Another fun way to hide messages using film is by using, I'm going to get this probably wrong saying it, but a thermochromatic film, which you can use that you can put over the top of messages that then reveals them using heat, like by a hand or a hot water bottle or whatever the hell. But it could be a nice little fun way of giving something to your players that they can then experiment around with to be able to reveal the message underneath. So this is thermochromatic film, and basically what it does is it reacts to heat. So if you were to put your hand on top of it, it will start to reveal things underneath. And you can use this to be able to write a message and put this kind of film on top of it. It's very simple to do, to make something like this, that whereby they can use the heat from their hands or a hot water bottle or something of the like, as long as it is hot, to be able to reveal the message underneath. But the message will only stay for so long, because as the film cools down, it will hide the message again. So hot, hot. You could use this to hide messages, or it's funny to be able to use it on a map whereby your players have to continuously use the heat to be able to locate certain locations on the map that lead to treasure. So that's just one fun way of being able to use this, but as I said, you can just hide messages. It's just a fun way of putting something in your players' hands that requires them to be able to work it out. But that's just some ways that you can use different types of film sheets to be able to create little fun things for your players to have to discover. I have actually linked Amazon links to both of those things down below. They are affiliate links, so if you do use them, I do make a little kind of like commission on the side. You don't have to do that, it won't cost you any extra, just like it helps me out a little bit. And you know, you can consider it a little payment for the idea, but so you don't have to do that. I'm just saying that those links are there if you want to use them. But yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, there is that other video if you want to see more codes and whatnot. If you liked what you saw, why not hit that like button? And if you want to see more content like it, why not consider hitting the subscribe button, as well as the fact that we also have a Discord. If you want to join, I would love to make a lovely D&D community where we all play games together or make games and whatnot together and different puzzles, whatever. It would just be lovely to have. Don't feel forced though, these options are yours. If you also want to support the channel, then why not consider heading over to the Etsy shop of Gaming Treasure Chest, whereby you can find different dice holders and different things related to D&D. If you're maybe looking for gifts and whatnot for people, then why not consider that. They're all things that I've designed and 3D printed myself, so if you want to help out in that way, please feel free to. But don't feel forced, these are just your options, and I hope you had a good time. And until next time, goodbye!